hope that you have realized by now that the D-27 magnetic propulsion device can both attract and repel the objects you encounter. In the next chamber, you will also see how it can affect you. Here, though, it's more of the same. Boxes and buttons.
Elise, can we talk about subtitles?
Yes.
Just to open. Case closed. Do we need this for Magnetic? The game could have just been called Magnetic.
It's cage closed.
Cage closed.
And I'm not entirely sure why it's cage closed.
So I can't read, Elise. Can we talk about this?
Well, I think, we give you a couple hours every day. We go over
Is this a Johnny Cage reference? We just recently learned some more information about the Cage family.
I wish it was a Johnny Cage reference, but unfortunately it's not. I don't even get what the pun is really. I guess technically we're in a cage because in the game we're in a maximum security prison.
With magnets.
With magnets, yeah.
Go.
It's kind of like Portal with like the Half-Life magnet gun, if that makes any sense. So basically,
which is the gravity gun.
Yeah, you're solving puzzles and you have this magnet gun which repels and attracts objects to and from you, and you can also use the gun to propel yourself. So like if you're standing on a metal plate, you can use the force of the magnet gun to shoot yourself upward and do like a super high jump. It is very Portal-esque, and they know that.
So I'm assuming you can tell which have magnetized surface, or which are metal surfaces and which aren't.
Yeah, and you can also a lot of the time they cue that in the game by just showing a glowing color, glowing surface. It should be noted that this game will get 100 Portal comparisons. And Guru Games that makes the game, they know that. Like, they knew that they were making a Portal game.
Is there anything wrong with that? Just really liking a game and then coming up? Because it seems like there's a lot. I remember there was one that was like cartoony where you were in your dad's lab and you found out that like he was working on an experiment that involved like weight. And so there were objects that you could like make like really light or you could make them really heavy. And like that was the whole thing. Quantum Conundrum from Mr. Ian Hank behind the camera. So yeah, it seems like there's a lot of games like that where it's just like, I only gotta think of two things. What the weird thing is that you're doing to the world, whether it's like changing colors or going in between the shadows or opening up portals or, like controlling, magnets or flipping the environment upside down or actually like moving objects around, and why you're there, what the context is, whether it's like some long lost uncle who has some lab that I'm breaking into, or I'm a guinea pig in the case of Portal.
You nailed it. Like, this game is like, it has two basic mechanics, one that you can attract or repel things or yourself, and you are in a maximum security prison where the implication is that if you can complete all these puzzles, then you are one of the like ordained inmates and you will be granted freedom, or it's very unclear. It has that kind of like ominous like GLaDOS feel where there's someone talking to you.
Maybe a little bit of Talos Principle, perhaps?
Except, does Talos Principle ever acknowledge, did you guys remember in any of its like press releases or stuff that it acknowledged its similarities to Portal?
No, they never copped to that.
No.
I'm still waiting. But I mean, Talos Principle still feels at least a lot different stylistically than something like this. Like this,
does.
You being a test subject and actually going through a lab designed to test your efficiency with this weapon. That's basically what Portal is.
That's literally what Talos Principle is too.
Oh, that's what. Okay, never mind. I guess that's what it is.
Talos
Principle is.
It is test rooms, but Talos Principle has like beautiful gardens that you're going through, and you're in the perceived image that you are in like ruins, and there's the tower. This game, it's like you are in. They're literally called test chambers, like Portal, and I think that's part of the joke too. Is like we're gonna put you through 10 test chambers at the beginning of the game, and they're all labeled 1 through 10, and of course you're thinking this is Portal. But then the game flips it and kind of goes a little bit dark, and then it just starts putting you through random test chamber numbers. So then you're like in test chamber 236, and anytime you travel between
spoilers, gosh.
Yeah, sorry, spoilers. The game isn't on Steam Early Access yet, I believe.
How'd you play it?
We got a code.
Oh.
Last I caught up with it, it wasn't on Steam Early Access, but I know it's going to be eventually and selling for $14.99.
Okay.
But yeah, it does some interesting things that kind of differentiates it from Portal.
How long is this game for $15?
I don't know yet.
Oh, you haven't finished it?
I've played maybe like 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Of it, just to like preview it and check it out and see what it's like. So my hope is that there is some kind of like ultimate dark twist or something that separates it from Portal completely, because you do even have like cubes that you use throughout constantly that look like companion cubes. And the game sort of makes jokes about that, where it's like, oh, you learned how to use a cube, good for you. Like the voice on the intercom will say that to you. And,
Well, Stanley Parable is kind of like that too, where it's just like making fun of gaming conventions. I would love a game that was like actually in the same facility, not the exact same like rooms that you go through in Portal, but maybe just in another part of the laboratory. That's like a really boring, dumb. Like, I guess I wouldn't make a fun game, but there's just kind of like, oh, this is the experiment that wasn't as cool as the gravity gun, but it's like the same kind of setup.
I wonder, would you ever play like a Portal prequel?
I'd play Portal anything. Portal's one of those things that they struck gold. Like I love everything about the aesthetic of that.
You start the game and you're in Aperture and there's Cave Johnson and everything's like perfectly cool, and then you see it all unravel and you're somehow playing through that. That could be interesting.
Well, I guess that's another thing that's actually key to this dynamic of what Portal did, which is that kind of like emptiness, which I think Talos Principle, to also use a comparison, gets dives way more into that aspect of it, of like, why are you here? How did this start? Where Portal's just kind of like Apocalypse, AI. You know how AI is. So they didn't really get into that, and I think that's kind of part of the mystery that people really dig.
Yeah.
So does this have that? Are you walking through this questioning like what did happen, or is it obvious?
Well, I guess the question is, why am I here? Why am I in a maximum security prison? What did I do? And also, like, are they really going to grant me my freedom? Like, who are these people? Is this actually a prison? I've seen no other people. There's also a weird moment with dummies. Like crash test dummies that you see. It's kind of creeped me out. I was expecting something more.
Some alien isolation action?
Yeah.
All right.
And I guess my question is, should I have a problem with the fact that this game is so similar to Portal?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm going to put that problem in your head. You didn't have that problem. Now you have 100 problems instead of 99.
Damn.
I don't think... I think it's good if you're upfront about it.
Yeah,
if you're communicating with a developer that's like, we were really inspired by this. I mean, you think about it, like on the flip side of the coin, there are a lot of indie games, like a side-scrolling platformer or an adventure game, that if you say like, I'm a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm a big fan of Secret of Monkey Island, that will endear you to people, being like, oh, I just want another one of those.
A billion Metroidvanias.
Yeah, so I think there's people that they're like, Portal's my favorite game of all time. I love this, and so if you're inspired by that and want to do something different, then yeah, I'm down to check it out. Especially since there might be some magic in there, and saying like, okay, like you moving yourself via portals, you moving yourself via magnetism might sound like the same thing, but there actually is some fun dynamics that you couldn't do in Portal that you can explore. And
the way that you had to like wire your brain around using the portals, you do have to do that around the physics of the magnets and magnetization. So yeah, I think the question that I have now is, should we talk about magnetization's land? What is it? Magnetic. Cage closed. Should we talk about magnetic for 10 more minutes so Ian doesn't have lunch? He's looking hungry.
Should we really persist in this?
He's
in a
looking
game
hungry.
you probably thought would take 6-7 minutes for magnetic?
Ian loves Talos Principle, championed it for Game of the Year.
Right.
I think this is a game right up his alley.
Right.
Sounds good.
Does he eat? Does Ian eat?
Well, he does. Does he need to? I think, from my position is the question that I'm trying to answer.
And that's what Talos Principle asks us. Like, as beings,
right.
I mean, do we just ingest food for the sake of ingesting? Are we ingesting knowledge?
Right.
We ingest that food.
Like, he needs the food, but then again, us working actually makes the food possible. So it's just this like endless cycle that you want to end. It's like you might not want more Portal games, but like you can't stop consuming them when they come out.
Because you're going into one portal and that's taking you through another portal, and it's just this cycle of portals, and you can't get out, and you're so hungry.
So it's like
you love food.
It's like you see the opening of different portals and you see yourself, and like that's another you, but it's the same you.
But you're eating in that portal, and you're like, oh man, I wish that was me in the portal eating.
So because you kind of like are seeing another copy of you, maybe that was them predicting that we'd get more Portal clones down the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could hear his stomach rumbling, and so
it's so loud.
He's hungry.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Ian is the GLaDOS of this Just Played episode.
And you're like, oh, there's a little companion cube. Maybe it's got some food inside, but it doesn't.
Right.
And it's gonna die. Spoiler.
And like you haven't finished Magnetic yet, so like you don't know how long the game is.
No.
We haven't finished this Just Played.
I should have packed a lunch for this Just Played.
I think we gotta take our minds off ourselves. I think we're done.
Okay.